Choosing a cruise cabin is an important type of the planning process, but how do you decide which type of cabin to book? We booked every type of cabin on a recent Royal Caribbean cruise to see how they compare. Up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. The Royal Caribbean blog and cruise blog team recently sailed on Liberty of the Seas for a 3-night Bahamas cruise. With 9 different kinds of staterooms booked, we decided to try as many types of cabins as possible to see how they compared. These cabins range in price from $670 to over $2,600 in total. And we wanted to look at the advantages, disadvantages, and overall experience each team member had in their cabin to see which cabins were worth it and which we'd skip next time. The most expensive room we booked was an owner suite for $2,612. Staff member Jenna stayed and loved her owner suite on Liberty of the Seas during the 3-night sailing. As one of the biggest cabins available on the ship, the owner suite was undoubtedly an incredible place to spend the weekend. In fact, we barely saw her. You can edit that out, Jenna. Like any cabin, though, it came with a few pros and cons. Jenna noted the best benefit of the owner suite as the cabin's ample space. With 624 square feet in the room and 160 square feet balcony, the cabin is around 4.5 times larger than the smallest interior cabins on board. Jenna mentioned how the owner suite worked perfectly as an entertaining space during the cruise. She, in fact, hosted the entire group for an after-dinner get-together 2 of the 3 nights of the cruise, and it was a lot of fun in there. In addition to the cabin size was the location, which Jenna found to be another huge benefit. Her owner suite was located right outside the elevator lobby, making it convenient to get anywhere on board quickly. Of course, suite benefits come with an owner's suite, and these were a massive advantage of the price tag. Jenna loved the fact that she could go to the suite lounge each evening for drinks and appetizers. Having priority boarding was another plus for her, and added perks like a private breakfast at Chops Grill in the morning made the 3-night cruise extra special. There were a few drawbacks, though, to Jenna's owner suite experience. The cruise's short length of 3 nights, combined with a very poor and intensive itinerary, meant there was very little time to spend in the cabin. Furthermore, the cabin came with a hefty price tag, which Jenna mentioned as a reason she would probably not book a suite for every single cruise. Nonetheless, Jenna mentioned she totally understands why suites are so popular on cruise ships. They add a level of luxury to a Royal Caribbean cruise that's simply unattainable in a normal stateroom category. She also noted that while her weekend on board was memorable, booking an inside ocean view or balcony cabin is perfectly fine with her travel style. She can easily save hundreds or even thousands of dollars by booking a lower cabin category instead of a suite, and she can put those savings towards other add-ons like shore excursions, dining packages, and spot treatments, or even a longer cruise itinerary. The next highest cabin category we booked was a junior suite for $1,439. Writer Chantel spent the weekend in the junior suite, and she found the cabin to be very spacious with a large living space and balcony. Her walk-in closet was so large, in fact, that she joked how she could have rented it out in New York City. Her main complaint with the junior suite, though, was the price versus benefits received. Chantel explained how she paid a premium for a junior suite compared to a regular balcony room, but did not receive any of the exclusive benefits that she would have received in a higher category suite. Receiving double Crown and Anchor Society points for the sailing was a major plus, though, and the location was fantastic. Despite being located right below the pool deck, Chantel mentioned she heard very little noise. The best part of her cruise experience was the bathroom, she says. She laughed about it because she explained how it was like an Italian nonna had sent her 60s-era bathroom to the future. Everything worked as it should, but she remained puzzled by the design choice. Next up was Allie in the most unique cabin that Royal Caribbean has, arguably, and that is the Ben & Jerry Suite. Total cost of her room on a 3-night Liberty of the Seas cruise was $753. As the name implies, Ben & Jerry's Suite is located directly above the Ben & Jerry's ice cream parlor on the Royal Promenade. Technically, it's just another promenade view interior cabin, but this cabin's view is partially blocked by a cow statue as part of the ice cream store. So because of the obstructed views, guests in the Ben & Jerry's Suite receive complimentary Ben & Jerry's vouchers each day and access to the Suite Lounge. Allie mentioned Suite Lounge access as one of the best benefits of the Ben & Jerry's Suite. With complimentary drinks each evening during happy hour, breakfast, and hors d'oeuvres in the evening, it was hard to beat the value you receive by staying in the Ben & Jerry's Suite. Of course, the free ice cream you got was another plus as well. And Allie noted the crew members at Ben & Jerry's didn't always know how the vouchers worked. She felt as if most crew members didn't know the protocol of what was included with the Ben & Jerry's Suite. For example, she got different answers each day as to what the ice cream vouchers include. Her card didn't get her into the Suite Lounge initially, and there was a little bit of ambiguity with the cabin about whether or not they were actually suite guests or just received few fun suite perks. In addition to the ambiguity, Allie didn't love the cabin's location. She explained how, due to its location on the Royal Promenade, the room was very noisy at night, especially during parties. And if you wanted to keep the curtains open in the promenade below, there was very little privacy in the room. But regardless of these few drawbacks, Allie wouldn't hesitate to book the suite, in air quotes, again. She would do it again for the happy hour and the free ice cream alone. The next cabin was Nicole, and she stayed in the most popular type of cabin on a Royal Caribbean cruise, a balcony room, and it came in at $707. Balcony cabins are a must-have for many cruisers due to their privacy and amazing views, and Nicole got to stay in a balcony room on a 3-night cruise. Nicole's cabin was room number 1878, one of the new cabins that Royal Caribbean actually added during the ship's 2016 refurbishment. With updated decor and furnishings, Nicole felt the updated room was a major plus of staying in her particular cabin. She enjoyed the updated closet system, which had plenty of storage, and the cabin felt larger than other balcony rooms that she had stayed in before. The location of her room had pros and cons to it. It was conveniently located near the elevators and close to the Deck 12 running track and solarium, but its location above the gym made the cabin slightly noisy. In addition, there was a security camera on their balcony, as it was the last balcony room before turning into ocean view cabins. Despite a few disadvantages, having a balcony cabin is a must-have for many cruisers, and Nicole certainly didn't regret having a balcony cabin on this short cruise. Now, 3 different people on the team spent the weekend in ocean view cabins, each of whom had their own unique takeaways from the cabin experience. There are several different types of ocean view cabins on a Royal Caribbean cruise. The first type we booked was a standard ocean-facing ocean view cabin for $785. Marcy stayed in an ocean view cabin on Deck 3, providing an unobstructed view of the ocean from her room's private porthole. Marcy enjoyed the cabin's location, and it was located right near the elevator, yet was surprisingly quiet. It provided easy access to the ice skating show in Studio B, and the cabin's lower deck location was not prone to ship movement. The major drawback of her cabin was the small size, but that had to be expected with an ocean view cabin unless she were to upgrade to a spacious ocean view cabin category. And of course, Marcy missed having a balcony but appreciated the outdoor views from her window. We also booked a more unique kind of ocean view cabin for 2 of our staff members, a helipad ocean view cabin on the front of the ship for $821. Both Haley and Angie both stayed in ocean view cabins overlooking the ship's helicopter pad. Angie found her cabin to be quite spacious with a lot of closet space and drawers. She enjoyed the Deck 7 location as it was close to the promenade and other lower deck activities, and found her cabin attendant to be excellent. Similarly, Haley found the cabin's size to be adequate, noting there was extra space for getting ready in the evenings due to the ship's interesting layout. The view of the helicopter pad was also a plus. However, she thought the angle of the room made the bathroom's layout rather uncomfortable, and mentioned how the room lacked privacy due to facing the helipad. It was important to close the curtains when not using the porthole, or else everybody could see directly into the prime changing spot in the room. Another type of cabin we booked was a promenade view interior cabin for $758. We have another writer named Haley, not the same person as the other one we mentioned, but she spent her weekend in the promenade view interior cabin, which looked into the promenade below. Her cabin was identical to the Alley's Ben and Jerry's suite we talked about earlier, albeit without complimentary ice cream and suite lounge access. One of the major benefits of Haley's promenade view interior cabin was having 2 couches in the room. Having 2 couches in the small living room space meant more room to spread out than a standard interior room. Her centrally located cabin meant she didn't feel any motion during the sailing while being close to the amenities and activities near the Royal Promenade. She found it interesting and fun experience as a unique kind of cabin, and mentioned how she hadn't seen anything similar on other cruise lines she'd experienced in the past. The downside, though, was being on the promenade meant the cabin could potentially be noisy during the evenings, but mentioned how most of the loud music seemed to end around midnight every night. The last type of cabin we booked was an interior. Womp, womp, womp. Total cost for the smallest room on a Royal Caribbean cruise, $670. Elizabeth booked an interior cabin on her 3-night Liberty of the Seas cruise. For such a short cruise, Elizabeth decided against unpacking. Luckily, her stateroom had a couch where she and her cabin mate could place their carry-on suitcases with no issue and without compromising floor space. Outside of having no window or balcony, Elizabeth encountered a few disadvantages when staying in an inside room. First was the wear and tear, and she explained how the room's condition made her want to spend less time in the cabin. She said the paint was chipping in her bathroom, and there was a hole in the shower hose. This isn't something exclusive to an interior room, and could have happened in any room, just happened to be her experience. Booking a guaranteed cabin meant Elizabeth could not pick a room location, and the room she was assigned, which was 8401, was located in the aft of the ship. Because of this, she had a long walk to the hallway to reach her cabin. Despite the long walk and chip paint, Elizabeth explained that she probably will always opt for an interior room on short weekend cruises. She was glad not to spend any more than she did because for 3 nights on a cruise with no sea days, she didn't feel it was necessary. So, extra cost versus extra space, what were the takeaways of trying nearly every type of cabin on Liberty of the Seas? It's no question that every member of the group encountered different experiences on board depending on which cabin they booked, but just how much did the cabin selection affect the overall cruise experience? Here are our main takeaways after comparing our experiences in these kind of cabins. Number one, compare prices of all cabins before booking. Before you make a decision on which cabin to book, you should definitely compare the price of the cabins against each other. We were really surprised to see cabins in higher categories, such as Nicole's balcony room, priced the same or even lower than interior and ocean view cabins. Here's an overview of what we paid for the 8 cabin types on a 3-night cruise. Prices show the total for 2 adults and include taxes, fees, and gratuities. It's clear that some team members got much more value from their cabin than others. Nicole's balcony cabin was $78 less than Marcy's ocean view, and she had access to a private balcony along with updated decor and furnishings. In addition, Allie's Ben and Jerry suite was only $5 less than what Haley's regular Promenade view interior cabin had, but Allie had way more benefits. Despite the cabins having the exact same layout, Allie received access to the suite lounge and complimentary ice cream. On the contrary, Jenna's suite was 4 times more expensive than Elizabeth's interior cabin, so she could have booked 4 separate cruises for the same price as one in that owner's suite. Although it's not so black and white when comparing the value of a suite versus an interior cabin, it's important to consider how much value you're going to be getting from the suite before booking. Number 2, when cruising with a large group, you're going to spend very little time in your cabin. One of the group's main takeaways from our Liberty of the Seas cruise was that when we were sailing with a large group, you're unlikely to spend a lot of time in the room. From eating together in the dining room each evening to group activities on board and in port, we found ourselves with little free time to hang out in our cabins. And even if we did have time to spend in our rooms, it was hard to justify sitting alone in our cabins when we could be having fun with the group elsewhere on board. Therefore, when booking a cruise cabin, be sure to consider who you'll be on board with. If it's just you and your spouse, for example, you're likely to spend more time in your cabin compared to a sailing with your entire extended family. In these cases, booking a cheaper category could be better than splurging on a balcony or a suite, so you don't have to feel pressured to spend time in the cabin just to justify the price that you paid. And lastly, there's no best or wrong cabin to book for a Royal Caribbean cruise. Like anything in life, a perfect cabin for one cruiser may not work well for somebody else. Some passengers may love saving money by booking an interior cabin, whereas others would rather not cruise at all than book an inside room. On the flip side, some cruisers swear by booking a suite on sailings because they find the extra space and added benefits a necessity. If there's anything we learned from our experience booking every type of cabin on a Royal Caribbean cruise, it's to always try something new. It's easy to get into the habit of booking the same type of cabin over and over and over again, but on your next cruise, consider something new. Whether you book a balcony for the first time, score booking the unique Ben and Jerry suite, or even a giant suite of its own, you might be surprised to find a new favorite cabin on your next Royal Caribbean cruise. Let me know in the comments below, what is your preferred favorite kind of cabin category? And when you choose a cabin, how do you decide between one or the other? Is it just money? Is it the location, the amenities? Let me know down there in the comments below. While you're down below our video, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. That way, YouTube lets you know we have a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. We'll talk again real soon.